Like to honestly give our praises to God because without God, none of this would be possible. To be very honest with you, with what we've gone through this year, super proud of the team. To play without Malcolm, really without Jordan Brown, he has a bad back, and to watch Naquan Tomlin, Nick Jordan battle with Big Golden the entire game, even though he was 9 for 9 and had 22 points, they both had 11 offensive rebounds together. And even though Nick didn't score, he just battled all game and just did what he needed to do for us. And Naquan had his best game yet. He battled and competed, but the rest of the team, David Jones getting 20 and 8 in the second half, Jaquan Walton battling with Jonell Davis, and Quinterly just being a leader out there and controlling the game with 6 assists, no turnovers. So, and then what Joe Cooper did and what Jaden did, those guys came into the game and just affected the game in a positive way. And just was a total team effort.
Questions? Terry?
Hey, Coach, before we get into the game, but I think this year is 6th consecutive year having 20 or more wins. I know you're not going to talk about how much it means to you, but what does it mean for you? I know you're thinking about the kids and stuff.
Well, you know, the more I'm looking at around the country and how this thing really works when coaches first get into the business, you don't automatically win 20 games a year. I inherited a team and won 20 games with that team. I had COVID year without James Wiseman, 20 wins. So it's like, to me, that means a lot to me now. I don't take that for granted anymore. I used to, push that away, but I'm really understanding how hard this really is to do so. And definitely proud to have another 20-win season.
What was the key to avoiding the foul trouble with your bigs, considering how shorthanded you were there and considering the matchups and also what Golden presents?
Well, we gave the game plan to Nick and to Naquan to just try to do their work early and push them off the block. But it still was up to those two guys to go out there and do it with their skill and their IQ. And they did a great job themselves of just really understanding when to push, when not to push, because any little thing that they would do get called a foul. So they played a very smart game. And they picked their spots where they kind of tried to push him off the block, but that was our game plan to get him off the block. He still went 9 for 9.
Coach, back left.
Naquan probably had his best game of the season so far. He's had great moments throughout the season. And talk about what he did tonight, both offensively and defensively, to have so much success, and how important is he to y'all's overall success moving forward?
No, his energy was amazing. That's probably the most energy I've seen from him all season. He had a personal vendetta. You know, they lost to them last year in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. And when you played against FAU, they can kind of get under your skin. So he was looking forward to this game, and you could just tell from the beginning that he was ready to go. I mean, from the entire week, he was ready to go. I mean, they're a good team, and he came out today and knew that we needed him to go to another level because Malcolm wasn't playing, and we knew JB was going to be very limited. So he came out and gave us an amazing game, 5 offensive rebounds, 21 points, 8 rebounds altogether. And then overall, he's a big part of what we're doing moving forward because we need his scoring ability and his rebounding and his shot blocking ability to help move us forward.
You're up front, Jason and Mark.
Would have been easy to have gotten rattled in this game pretty much no matter what, but then you have the jump ball timeout. I mean, let me just ask you about that first, because I saw your reaction. You stared the ref like this.
I wish I could say what I really feel. I'm sure you guys would love that. But I wasn't shocked.
Okay, and then the way the game was kind of unfolding there late with a couple of turnovers, and they were making a push. It kind of felt like the NCAA tournament again. How do you just not kind of get caught up in all of that?
I think that because I played the game and I was in those situations, I understand what can happen. You can only put your guys in position and hope that they can get out of those positions. But usually great teams are going to make a run. They're really good at what they do on how they pressure, how they do it. You got to be smart. You got to get the ball across. I didn't want us to bring the ball back out. I wanted us to score. That's something that you don't do. When you break pressure, you have 3-on-1 fast break, 3-on-2, go ahead and score. So we'll talk about that. But as a basketball player, for me, just don't panic and give live ball turnovers. That ball went in the middle again. on the pass and they stole it. And I was like, oh my God, let's just not pass the ball across the middle on the press ever again. But I just stay calm because I've been in those situations and I just try to stay calm for them. So when they see my reaction and my response and I'm not panicking, maybe they won't panic.
Along those lines, that possession with 40 some odd seconds left, the leads down to 3. I mean, you would have a better sense of this. It seemed like one of your best defensive possessions of the year. But what was that moment like? One, leading into it after you had the lead, you built a 10-point lead and it's gone away. But then watching them kind of deliver that defensive possession that they did.
A side of you is like, here we go again. You know, they're coming back. But then there's also a side of you that's saying, hey, this is a moment where we have to get a stop. And when you get your guys to get a stop like that, like you said, one of the best defensive moments of the game, that's what you want. When you start freaking out and things start leaving you, where it was very calm and now it becomes chaotic, you have to figure out a way to get back calm. And they did. They wanted the game so badly. They said, let's get a stop. We're not giving them a bucket just because we turned the ball over. So I was definitely proud of that.
And then, totally unrelated, what can you say about the situation with Malcolm Dandrige, and are you preparing? You might not have him the rest of the year.
Well, I can't speak on that, but I'm waiting just like you guys are. So I don't know anything about when he's coming back. I'm just going to learn, I guess, as you guys learn.
Penny, after what happened,
Gotcha.
Penny, after what happened in yesterday's game with Duke and Wake Forest, there's been a conversation about court storming after Kyle Filipowski got hurt. What are your thoughts on court storming and what can be done to avoid those situations?
I understand that that's been a part of college basketball forever, but now it's starting to get a little too violent because there's so many people getting caught in the middle, and usually the students will come out and go around the players, that the players come off, security grabs, and now it's like they're trying to let the players see them or say something or whatever. So they're definitely, you want the safety of the fans as long as the players. So I think that you should let the team exit. If you feel like you're going to storm that court and you're going to allow storm, you don't have a handshake line. Let the team just go right out, and then you can storm the court. You don't do a handshake line, because once you do that handshake line, or you kill that. And then the other thing is, as soon as the game is over, you can get that team off the floor quickly, and then you can bring the fans on.
Coach, you're from
Coach, you guys took a loss to FAU in the tournament last year, and then this year with FAU joining the American Conference, and this game being such a big deal for them and you guys. Do you see sort of a rivalry brewing between you two?
I think you can say that because both teams met last year and went down to the wire. Then we meet again this year. It goes down to the wire. So, it's. I think it's fun to have that. We lost Houston. That was our own rivalry with the guys, even though they were way more successful than we were. But when it came into the realm of the conference, there was the games that we look forward to playing because they were the bar. And you can say Florida Atlantic for going to the Final Four last year, they're the bar, as far as they've tasted it. So every time you play those teams that have that number behind their name, you want to battle. So you can say that, yes.
Hey, Penny, 3 turnovers in the first half, 3 turnovers in the second half. Why were there only 3 turnovers in each half? Was it because of buy-in, or was it something with the reduced play call?
I think that, I've been scripting the offense, and if we don't take bad shots, then we'll be better than that. 6 turnovers is great because the ball was in JQ's hand. He played 37 minutes, and then the ball was in his hands probably 34. And he just made great decisions. So it wasn't by committee today like it usually is. It was in our point guard's hands, and he took very good care of the ball.
Penny, back here. 2 straight wins, 2 of your better games this season. You have 3 more to go in the regular season. Can you keep that enthusiasm going, especially when you go on the road in Greenville, where it's not going to be the enthusiasm from the crowd you had? And if you can finish off like that before you go to the conference tournament, do you believe you're back in the conversation as a possible at-large?
Absolutely, I do. I mean, this to me is a quad 1 win. They have a lot of respect for Florida Atlantic, no matter where. We get this win, and then if you finish out the way you're supposed to, or the way that you want to, then I'm sure you're back in the conversation. But for me, you have to keep the enthusiasm up. They're really buying into scheme, and with the scheme, they're bringing the energy and the effort. And when we do that, we can win any game. We didn't do that in Texas, and I don't know why, but we're doing it now. So I'm staying on that rhythm of what we are right now. So yeah, I feel like we can be back in the conversation.
Last 2 for Coach Roman and Floss.
It felt like all of your main players really showed up today. 25 for David Jones, 21 for Naquan Tomlin, 14 for Quinterly, 11 for Walton. That hasn't happened too often throughout this year. What did it mean to get that today?
It meant a lot because this game was the biggest game because it was the next game on our schedule. Plus, it was a quad one team, a team that everybody respects around the country. The writers, number one, they respect this team. They deemed this team the best team in our conference, obviously, because they went to the Final Four last year. And all the guys were willing to step up. You know, at some point after Dallas, it clicked for this team to be like one unit instead of being individuals. And it feels good coaching this team now when everybody's unified and together.
Last one, Mark.
Penny, kind of going off of that, you mentioned earlier that y'all have been through so much as a group. Now with recent developments, kind of distractions are starting to add up again. What's it taken for you to keep your guys focused on basketball and not everything else around them?
Man, just sticking to the playing of basketball and not worrying about anything off the court. There's so much going on off the court with family, deaths, illnesses, sicknesses with people and their families, and getting distracted and trying to bring them back in from that. So the distractions have been happening all year, and we've been able to now finally kind of narrow that scope and not have a broad. It was this way in the beginning. Now it's starting to just kind of become locked in on what we need to become locked in on. So it's been honestly easy to do it now because they all have buy-in. And when they all have buy-in, then there's nothing else that's going to distract them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.